Hello, listening people.
Hello.
Hello, Bartek. How are you doing?
Hello, Ryan. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am feeling nauseous. I'm feeling woozy. I feel like I'm bobbing from side to side, like seasickness. That's how I'm feeling.
Oh, dear. What happened?
I watched a film called Xala. And I watched a very specific version on YouTube, and it wobbled from left to right a lot, and the subtitles were just not wanting to keep in the center. So I'm feeling like I need to wear some I need to be in like a pressurized chamber so I don't get the bends. That's how I'm feeling.
Well, very random thing to bring up in this podcast that we're doing.
It is random. It was just by happenstance.
Yeah.
But we are spit and polish likingly because we're always spitting, and we both happen to be Polish gentlemen. And today on the podcast, which is our one where we go through movies that come recommended, Pictures Powwow, we're talking about a film that really, really emphasizes one of the words in our podcast title. You have to watch to the very end to figure out which one it is.
Yes.
So, everyone, we are here to discuss a movie that has come recommended by Bartek. You recommended this movie.
Why did I recommend it?
Because it's your time.
Oh.
It's your time. It's the Bartek's era, we call it, or folly. And then next episode will be a movie that I have recommended that we'll be discussing. And then the one after that, it will be the listening people. We all have a turn. And this time it fell on you, so you can tell everyone what the movie you picked was.
Well, funny that you brought up that you watched Xala from 1975, because that's the film that I've recommended for this episode.
Wow.
Xala from 1975.
Tell us a little bit more about Xala.
It is a film from Senegal. This is a film that I learnt about briefly in university, a class that I did with our friend Reese. I think it was called like Cinemas and Cultures, and we looked at a couple of films from, I think it was like 4 different cultures. Some of them we've actually done on the podcast, whether it be that I discovered it there or already knew it. Like we did at one point, I think, a Bosnian film called Gribovica. I already knew about it, but we did a little bit on Lagan in this class. So we did, Francophone African films, Indian, Eastern European, and I can't remember what the other one was, but it was basically, 4 different cultures, examples of films from them and like how they get analyzed and stuff like that.
And ones that are about their cultural stuff as well, because with a few of those you mentioned, like there's cultural touchstone points within them. Like Lagan is about cricket, but it's also about its relationship and history with British colonialism. Gribovica, that has a whole backstory that the main character goes through when it comes to previous conflicts.
Oh, it was New Zealand cinema.
New Zealand cinema. I wonder what it was.
Whale
Rider.
One of them was Once Were Warriors. I remember that.
Upbeat film. Yeah. The whole family. That one's an upbeat film. But yes, so we are talking about Xala. If you have not watched this, there is a version available on YouTube. But if you can find a better copy, please do. Yeah, because the one on there is not the greatest.
I think there are a couple on YouTube.
But with English subtitles, there's less. There's others with different country subtitles. So if you want Spanish subtitles, great. If you want French subtitles, even better. So make sure to give this a watch for yourself. The film, to give it a summary without getting into it too much, because this has twists and turns and the film slowly reveals itself to you. But this is a movie about a man who is a part of the new government system of this country, because there's a whole handover from the French imperialist system to the people themselves. And this man is living the lap of luxury. And he decides, I'm going to get a new wife. He's already got 2, but he's like, I need a 3rd.
I'm rich enough to show off that I have a 3rd.
And then horror befalls him, and it's a series of events of this man trying to fix his life while making it worse. That's a great way to describe it. Everyone, make sure to watch it for yourself. I had never heard of this movie, was not aware of this movie, did not know what to expect other than you said the country and that you said it was in French, and I didn't really know anything about Senegal. I knew nothing really of it. I know the name, but I wouldn't know where to point to on a map where exactly it is. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if this was going to be set in its contemporary day or if it was going to be a period piece. Really nothing. So it was interesting to see this movie because it also, as I stated, keeps things close to the vest in a way. It slowly reveals what it's about and it slowly reveals its tone, because I did not expect this to be a satire, a comedy of a sort, but also like a tragedy of like an old Greek style like tale. It's very intricate the way that the movie goes through the motions. But I found it to be hard to watch because of just the quality of the copy that was available. It's a very low quality. The subtitles, as I mentioned, move from side to side because whatever person uploaded this, I don't know what was going on, but the video was just kind of like wobbling throughout the entire thing. It was just kind of wobbling a bit by bit. And once you noticed it, you're like, oh, I can't unnotice this. But also 40% of what was being said could not understand because it was white subtitles with no outline on white backgrounds.
Some of those backgrounds were really white.
And then 50% of their dialogue isn't even given subtitles for some reason. There's so much dialogue in this movie that they just say and there's no subtitles for in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know if it's because it's repetition or it's like you should already know what this is, or if it is not giving subtitles to the other language that's spoken in this movie, because they're speaking French but they're also speaking
Wolof.
So maybe it doesn't translate that because it's like you should know what this is, but I don't know. This movie's like a tangled web of it itself is an intricate story, but then the quality of the copy we were watching added too many layers of separation for me to fully be invested in the movie.
I was trying to work out what the deal was with some of that, and I noticed that some of it was either like repetition or like really basic terms like mademoiselle or like monsieur or something like that. But then it was a really weird thing where when the dialogue would come back, the communication of what's being talked about didn't really feel like something was missing. So it was like, what was like the literal translation of what was being said there? Was it a repetition thing or?
We don't know.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
So tell us a bit more about your experiences with this and why you recommended this.
Yeah, so all I really remembered about this was that it was a satire of some sort of like post-colonialism. That it was about like a curse being put on someone, and the curse eventually gets removed by having him be spit on by people that he looked down upon or like wronged in some way. I don't remember if I'd seen the full film. I think I only saw bits of it, like maybe just the bits at the start and the end. But once I'd remembered that we looked at this film for a little bit, I remembered those things that I mentioned there, and I was curious, like, I would like to see how the whole thing plays out. I saw that it was marked as like satirical comedy, so I thought like, it's a culture we haven't really touched on yet. It's a satirical comedy that has like a sort of absurdist ending, at least from our perspective, so that it might be, something new for us, but also something understandable. I do remember that, we did that Gribovica film many years ago, and that the fact that we didn't understand the culture was one of the big kind of sticking points with us, where we were trying to play catch up with the film. So I was a little bit worried about that going into this. And I think for the most part, I kind of got everything. I don't know how you went with it, but yeah, the subtitle stuff definitely was a sticking point with the copy that I found.
So everyone make sure to give this a watch. We're going to get into the details, the spoilers of it all. So when you were going into this, did you know what the curse was? Was that something that you saw in your initial watch through? Because I was shocked, because it's like midway through the movie that we really get what the Xala is. Like, there's so much
it takes a long time.
So when you were like, I know the beginning and I know the end, I was like, okay, but again, people, watch this movie for yourself. It's even on IMDb as the summary of the movie, that the curse is erectile dysfunction. That's like halfway through the movie. Like what would be the premise of a movie is presented way later on. So did you know that?
I knew that it was, erectile dysfunction. But like you said there, I didn't realize that it would take so long to like factor in. Like we have at the beginning, we establish the government's been taken over.
Switching of
hands, but there's some corruption there where they bring in the old hands because they got bribed. We're introduced to our main characters like, and our colleague is having a wedding to his third wife, and we very slowly eventually reach the point where we have the wedding, and then there's going to be like the first time they sleep together.
We meet the two other wives,
their
opinions, and their families.
And the way where I'm describing it now, it sounds like, that's a good like 15 minutes of the film, but no, it's almost like 40, 45. Like it takes its time.
The movie is 2 hours long.
Yeah, it really takes its time to get to the main conflict.
And this is not, unfortunately, such a brilliantly structured and paced movie where it can get away with that. It's not Friedkin's Sorcerer, for instance, where Sorcerer spends like pretty much the first 40 minutes to an hour with each one of the characters, building them up bit by bit, and then eventually you get to what the main plot of the movie is about. Like, it's not that type of format. It is just... I don't know if it's just this culture's way of telling it. I don't know if it's this director's specific way, because this is a fairly well-regarded director. I was looking up his stuff, and even when you look up reviews of this, he was already revered. He's already a name. It's already like, this person is a known quantity.
Yeah, I was seeing in some reviews that a lot of people were having giggles at the fact that like his really famous film, there's a poster for it near the end. It's like, he had to sneak it in there.
Exactly. And so that's something to contend with. Like, maybe this is their style. Maybe this is this culture's way of telling stories, or if it's just how this movie operates. But it was laborious, I would say. I don't know if I can say I have a fair review of this because of the conditions of having watched it, but also just I did not like this movie very much. I wanted to, because when I look at it, when I say what it's about, it sounds interesting. It sounds really interesting. But I didn't care about any character. I didn't find any of them particularly engaging or illuminating. I understand that, like, I do understand on a level the social commentary and the satire elements of it. Like, that wasn't fully lost on me. It's it's dealing with stuff we are familiar with, which is colonialism from another country, and then the people that's from the actual country taking charge, but they're still inherently relying on the old ways, whilst also rejecting their actual old custom ways as well. So all of that was fascinating, but I'm watching this main character who I don't know very well wander from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene. This movie is just very much meandering, in my opinion. And the curse reveal element is good, but it comes in so far into the movie that I just go, okay. Like, I didn't know about the erectile dysfunction thing going in, so I didn't know any of that. And it sounds funny when you say it, but when it came in, I just went, okay, let's see where this goes. Like, I didn't find it a very humorous movie. And the ending, the spitting thing, I can see how that's like a humorous ending, but I found it like a horrifying ending. I thought it was like an actual like Twilight Zone, Outer Limits type spooky ending to the movie. It's just so grotesque and horrifying that if it was a Dogma 95 movie, it wouldn't be out of place. So that way, I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to feel tonally about this movie? I'm still left scratching my head about, I guess.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat. It was more interesting than enjoyable for me as well. All the colonial stuff, it all made sense. Like, I remember I finished the film and I looked up summaries and reviews just to see, like, did I miss something? But no, it seemed like I did kind of follow along with it. And a lot of people seem to find this film pretty funny.
Maybe it's a cultural difference.
Yeah.
Between us and not even just this country, but also the French. I wonder what the French audience thinks of this movie as well. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I was reading even on the YouTube comments and random reviews, people like, that second wife, she stole every scene she was in. She was so funny. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I saw those too.
I was like, did you feel that way? You love outrageous characters. Did she steal the movie?
I don't know. I feel like the first wife maybe was more interesting to me just because, she seemed to put herself above everything. She, in a way, distances herself from the, like, things that some other people see as hijinks. Like, I know my place, you guys deal with this. Second wife, all I really remember is, that she has an afro. She's much younger than the first wife.
She has a family.
Yeah, she has a family. I mean, the first wife does too.
Yeah, but I feel like the second wife's one is in it a lot. They hover around her physically a lot as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really stick out to me that much either. The only family member whose scene that I really kind of got something from was the daughter of, I think it was the first wife who got slapped, and then later on she has a scene with her father, and there's like a couple of elements there that you can grasp onto for characterization, like the fact that our main guy drinks imported water. She doesn't want to take it because it's it's a different thing for her.
She doesn't want to speak French.
Yeah, and there's the language thing being brought up there. Like there was some stuff there like, okay, I kind of get this sort of dynamic that these characters have here in this one very, very short scene.
And it impacts him going forward. He goes back to the government body. They're going to kick him out. He tries to make his case, and he doesn't want to speak in French in that moment. That's him. And they're like, no, you got to speak in French.
Even if you're going to insult us, like, do it in French.
Do it in French. As the actual Frenchman, white guy sitting behind all of them, just nodding, basically. There was stuff like that was very potent. I kind of wish that it leaned way more into the political aspects of it. Like when we were hanging out with all those other political characters and just that boardroom of freaks and how they all were just so self-serving and just, I'll help you out, and then won't, or gives him the bare minimum, and then they turn against him, and they're like relishing in his downfall. That stuff was really entertaining to me, and I wish there was more of that cutthroat thing. And
they replace him with the guy who was like pickpocketing earlier in the film.
Yeah, that was great. And then we're far away from that for so much. Like I have an actual hard time telling you what our main character does for most of the movie, like how he tries to, because again, when I say he's trying to remedy this situation, and so he's going around from place to place trying to solve it, that's disingenuous in a way when I say that, because it makes it sound like there's like a forward momentum and like each scene is progressing to that end goal, but most of the time it's just not. It's just kind of like it happens on the occasion.
Yeah, he's kind of like juggling two conflicts. One of them obviously being the curse that he has, the Xala or the Xala. And, he's seeing a whole bunch of different medical people to try to cure it. And then the other is some sort of business thing he's done where he's sold off like all of the rice or all of the grain. And whatever business happened with that has gone wrong, and now everyone like hates him because of that. It's a sort of the thing that he's done that's made everyone hate him is something that's explained through the exposition. And so that makes it kind of harder to, fully understand like where he kind of went wrong with the other, people in that chamber, because we didn't really see what happened there. We're just kind of taking it on whatever we've gathered from the dialogue.
Music was interesting. There was lots of music in the movie. There was lots of different singing and instruments and the blending of culture. Like some of the music felt very French and very 70s. And then other music felt very, very like ceremonial and African and like, of a very different era to things. And we even have that in the opening credits where we have We have people dancing on the streets, like arm in arm, basically, where there's like the woman, wearing all the tribal gear, and then a guy in a suit. That stuff was really great visual storytelling. And although the film does not have the most dazzling filmmaking in terms of visual presentation, it's very reverse shot. Here they are sitting. It's not glamorous by any means. What I do think the filmmaker is really adept at is getting across very good metaphors and allegories and character things with visual storytelling. I thought there was just great little touches, whether down to the costume or the physical poses of the actors. Lots of good pieces of blocking and fun props. Like, we talk about the politicians, but the fact that it's very Doctor Strangelove in a way, where their big tables almost like a big poker table that they're sitting at. Just like in Doctor Strangelove, where Doctor Strangelove, we don't know that because it's in black and white. But in this, you do get to see it, and you do get to see these characters, and it's almost like the fate of the country is just a game of just all of these middle-aged men smoking cigars in the pool house on a Sunday afternoon, just playing cards. Like, it really feels arbitrary to them. And I thought that was just wonderful stuff. Or even the remaining French influence, that guy doesn't have to speak really to get anything
Never
done.
Says a word, I don't think.
He just, here's the briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
Here's all the money. Or just, he glances just with his sunglasses. He's usually always wearing his glasses as well, and he doesn't take them off really. And when he does, he leans his head down to give you some eye contact, to be like, don't fuck with me. And it's great. Like, all of that stuff I really praise about the movie, because, put it in context, what the country is, the time period. This isn't going to be, top tier, what we are familiar with in the West are like A grade, but I really compliment just the way that things were put together visually.
And you really get a sense of, the city that this takes place in, where you see all the people that are there. So obviously you have these guys who are, dressed in business suits in, nice little cars, regular citizens, but you have a whole community of, I think they call them undesirables, homeless people that
Trash.
people that have disabilities. Like, you got a couple of able-bodied people, a lot of people that have to have a walking stick of some variety.
People just crawling.
And people whose legs are just so thin, or they can't do anything below the knees.
Or they don't have legs.
They don't have legs, and you see just how adept they are at moving, with what they do have, like their arms or just like the upper parts of their legs. You see that in big detail, and it's, at least for our Western perspective, like when we think of homeless people, we mostly think of, individuals or people just sitting still. But here we have this whole big community of people that are kind of like-minded, looking after each other.
Or a sense of culture of their own within a country that's divided culturally.
Yeah. And eventually, they factor into the main plot. That's where the ending comes in. And in terms of other cultural stuff, you have a lot of the African, you mentioned the music there and some of the clothing, as well as some of the Muslim and the African take on some of the Muslim attire.
Yeah, that was interesting, huh? I wasn't considering that when coming into the movie, but it does pop up. One of the things too, though, was a great moment was, there's all of these, homeless people, and a character is flicking coins at them, and then one of the coins rolls over, and there's a soldier there.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Oh, we won't take it." And the soldier, he takes the coin and he puts it in his shirt pocket, and it's like, got it, nailed it. That's great. We understand the dynamic here. We understand the division. We understand the tension that's being built. These are apparently the people who are going to liberate us and free us and take us to who we truly are. We're no longer under the French rule, but even, the people slumming it, the people that are hard done by, they know that's bullshit. They see this guy, he's going to take the money.
Yeah, he's not
literally from the hands of the beggars, that type of thing.
Not even spare, what looks like a 10-cent coin of some sort.
And then later on, we even get a further division with those guys, with those type of soldiers, where when they're like repossessing all of the stuff from our main character, no one knows how to drive this car.
Yeah, that was another really good scene.
It was a Porsche, wasn't it?
Mercedes.
No one knew how to do it, and so they would just push it through the streets instead.
Push it in neutral.
No one knew. They're like, okay, this is beyond us. Like, the elite politicians, they know this. Then us military people / cops, we don't know this.
Yeah, every time, I just remembered, every time the car gets brought up, it's always the brand. It's like the Mercedes, get in the Mercedes. Like, I've got a Mercedes, yeah.
It's a big brand. You know, it's one of those ones that, you know, Mercedes-Benz evokes a lot of things of affluence and wealth, and also it has a history. And so it is very pointed that they bring it up as well. So,
and it complements how our main character keeps talking about, like, all my things are from Europe. Like, the European drinks from this country, this country, this country.
Foreign.
Yeah.
It's not from here. Yeah, exactly, right? These are the great things about the movie, and I wish that it was just done a bit tighter.
I'm right there with you.
I just wish I cared about a character more. Like, this stuff is more caring about things on I guess macro level, looking at this from a purely filmmaker thematic point of view, but I don't really have much thought about the actual people, like the individual characters, because we do have individual characters that are in this, like our main character. I don't feel any one way or the other for him. Like, when he's doing something despicable, I'm not like, ooh, how despicable. I can't wait for you to get your just desserts. But I'm also not pitying him when he's like, my life is in tatters. I don't know. It's this weird middle ground where I'm just indifferent. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we're not really with him, and we're not really having like the schadenfreude against him for things going wrong.
And just from our standpoint, comedy-wise, because again, Bartek and I both understand that comedy can be very subjective, especially when it comes to different languages, different backgrounds, different time periods, different cultures. So this could be something that's lost in translation for us. But when it came to his erectile dysfunction, something that was very fascinating to me was everyone treated it seriously. They're like, this isn't funny to them. This is like a horrifying thing to everyone else. And other people are like, oh, the Xala. Like, they all take it very seriously or relatively seriously.
Yeah, and everyone knows about it too.
So from like a comedic standpoint, does that bolster or weaken the kind of pitch that this movie is presenting to you? Because I found it kind of hard to grasp that element. Like, I don't know if I want it played the other way or not. Like, is this better? Or is this weakening the kind of, when you read the IMDb pitch of a man is cursed with erectile dysfunction and has to humiliate himself to get it cured, that sounds like it presents you one thing. But then when you watch the movie, it's like, oh no, everyone's taking it fairly seriously. This is more of a dramatic conceit. But then I could argue, because it's done so seriously, that makes it funnier.
Yeah, and the main character's attitude towards it getting brought up isn't so much of like an embarrassment thing, but like kind of like quiet shame. Like, I think there was a scene where he was sitting down with two people and one of them brought up your Xala. And I was expecting like, oh, you know, he's going to get like embarrassed or like look at the other guy like, oh, does this guy know about it as well? But yeah, it just gets talked about very straight-faced. I guess I do appreciate at least that, you know, the concept of the Xala, the curse, is something that's accepted as being like a real thing and an understood thing. It's not like this is like an obscure thing that they have to go to the library to read up about. That, oh, this has happened to me. So it shows that it's like a key part of the culture, at least understood in the culture.
Exactly, and he isn't dismissing of it either. Like, he takes it seriously as a condition that he has, and he's like, okay, I've got to figure out what to do now about this. But I've also got this rice thing happening, and I've also got my wives. I've got to keep them happy and the new family.
And when he gets it cured, like his wife's on her period, so he can't even have sex.
That was a good gag. See, that was good. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about Xala. Unfortunately, like, all of these come together in ways, but just I felt degrees of separation and distance from it. And again, I don't think I can say I'm giving it a fair shot because of just the quality of the version that's available was not the greatest.
Yeah, it's It's one that I finished watching it. Like I said, it was kind of laborious for me as well watching it. But when I finished watching, I was thinking back, like, okay, there's a bunch of stuff to grasp onto. But then, when you talk about the actual experience of watching it, like, that stuff is very slowly drip fed to you and easier to kind of look at in retrospect. So, in terms of saying what it's like to watch this film, unfortunately, the material doesn't quite complement the experience that I had.
So why did you pick this one? Because you have mentioned over the years, just for greater context, when you did this class, there's another film that you have wanted to recommend or you've talked about that was in that class. And
Yeah.
but it was about finding a copy of it. And then last week you said there is a copy of it, but you've still chosen this one. But I'm just curious, like, what about this film has drawn you in to want to come back to it?
So with that other one, I have seen that one in full. This one I hadn't. But also it's been such a long time since I saw that other one that I thought maybe that one's a bit too simplistic. I think that from what I recall, that one's a bit more like a family-friendly film.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it sounded like it had a bit more like stuff to, bite into.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of got cold feet about that film. I do want to watch it at some point again on my own, just to, gather whether it would be good for the podcast. And I thought, like, oh, well, in the meantime, I'll recommend another film from that one class that will surely give us something.
And I still appreciate this movie. I hope one day to perhaps revisit it with better conditions, better copy, subtitles that are much more friendly and not wiggling all over the place and white on white background stuff with the text. It's just a lot to take in, but I think it's always good to come in and look at different cultures and see what they were up to. And even reading some of this being provided on YouTube, although has its downside, some of it was very positive because I got to read lots of comments.
Yeah.
Who are from people who were there at the time or grew up with this movie or from this area and talking about like the changes in the film industry and like how once they hit the 80s, there was a very sharp decline in the film industry there. But before then, there was something going on. And this filmmaker, I've read, they're a well-known name, and they have a style and a voice.
Yeah, this film has a review by Ebert.
Yes, and this film has a review by David Stratton, the Australian film critic, and he thought it was like one of the best films he saw that year. And
yeah, Ebert gave it like 3 out of 4.
Yeah, this is definitely grabbed onto something, and I hope that this, in a way, maybe opens the door for us to check out other films from this director or from this era, or even more African movies, because we haven't done really any African movies outside of Who Killed Captain Alex, right?
That, and for South African we did Mr. Bones.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 that I could think of.
Yeah, isn't that something to consider? So maybe it is something that is needing to be looked into some more, because the fact that in our time on the podcast we have discovered these auteur directors from certain countries or certain areas that we're maybe less familiar with, or we're not familiar with this specific filmmaker, but it's like, oh, that's interesting. Like they have a catalog of work, maybe tapping into that, even, down to, this started beforehand, but, we're big fans of Czech films, and when covering our Czech movies, we've seen all of these recurring actors, all of these recurring directors, and so it's kind of got us more interested in looking at that stuff. Or, with Japan, we did Confessions, and it's like, oh, that director's interesting, and they work with this. I hope that this is the case for more African cinema in the future as well, because Who Killed Captain Alex is a fun movie, but it's not, you don't watch Who Killed Captain Alex for the movie itself. You watch it for the real life underdog story that it is. Like, you watch it for the VJ. You watch it for the fact, like, they genuinely have like so much passion.
The passion,
and despite the circumstances, they made a movie that caught the whole world's attention, and that's something special in itself. Or something like this is very different. Like, this is like a genuine piece of satirical art from the 1970s in a country that most of us are not familiar with. and talking about something very serious but making it very silly, like this colonialist aftermath of like having the French be there for so long that most of the people are speaking French, and then we have like the people want to go back to the old ways, and then we have the Muslim presence as well, and like there's all of this stuff about how does a country that's coming reeling out of a colonial state deal with the multiculturalism that's left behind. How does that look like? And this film has a very scathing look at it. And I think that is worth seeing in itself. But I don't recommend this movie in the quality that's available currently. It's hard to say that.
Yeah.
But I do think, like, I'm sure that there are people that this would be a great recommendation to, but it is not one that I can give wholeheartely.
Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to try to decide one way or the other whether to recommend it or not, because, yeah, just need to give it a more fair shake.
Oh, you don't think Malloy would love this? Your friend Malloy?
I don't think he would, actually, now that you mention it.
Are you sure? I thought he would love the ending. That ending.
I kind of have to look away.
You did?
Yeah.
What about the sound, though? Did you love the sound?
Oh, the sound was fine. The sound design was great.
The sound design was great. Yeah, the guy gets spat on by multiple people, and they're just spitting on him. It's a lot. And the movie just abruptly ends on that, too, which is, I thought it was a brilliant ending.
Yeah.
Genuinely upsetting ending. Like, again, where do you land on, like, the tone of this movie? Because I found that genuinely upsetting, but did you find it more humorous or just kind of disgusting? Like, what are your takes on it?
Because I knew it was coming, and I knew that I'd seen at least part of it before. I thought it was gonna be more humorous, but yeah, I just ended up being kind of more grossed out about it. Just seeing like the shiny, really white viscosity. I'm kind of getting grossed out just describing it, to be honest. But yeah,
how about you calm yourself by thinking about drinking the bin juice in Double the Fist?
The one thing that I've watched for the podcast that genuinely did make me throw up.
Yeah. Think about them together. So I didn't find it, like, it was gross, but that wasn't what got. I thought just the idea of this man has gone through this tragic fable-like story and to not even, we don't even know if this gets him out of it in any way. It probably doesn't. It's just the one final humiliation he has to put himself through, and he deserves it. That's the thing too. He deserves this. He's a piece of shit. He's a scumbag. He's such an amoral person that he doesn't even consider that there are victims to his actions. He's just like,
he doesn't even recognize the guy who's like behind it all.
And the man who's behind it all, he gave the best performance too. Like, just from what I can see, he was wonderful. I wish he was in the movie more. Like, he came in with like, I'm in a drama. You know, he's like, I'm acting like I'm from a revenge drama, and everyone else was acting different. But I thought he had presence. But anything else you want to say about Xala?
No, man, I think we got it.
Oh, Xala. Yeah, it was a fascinating film, though. Like, I did not like it, but it was fascinating. That's the greatest compliment I can give to a film that I do not care for, is I still think that it has worth and merit. This is not an Uncharted, where that's like a garbage movie with nothing to it. It's soulless. This has soul. This has personality. This has things it's saying and doing, and I'm not ashamed to admit that it's beyond me.
Yeah.
You know? That's it.
I take that as a win of a recommendation then.
So, it is my time to recommend a film for the podcast. And next time on the pod, we are going to be talking about the where are we up to? 2018 or 2019? I've got to double check.
Yeah, you're doing it in like,
I'm doing it in
every
2019.
Year. 2019.
Film Waves. So everyone make sure to check out the film Waves from 2019.
Not to be confused with The Wave.
Not to be confused with The Wave. This is a Trey Edward Schultz movie, who is a filmmaker that I am aware of, but have never watched a film from. So I thought this would be the one to do it. He's had a spread of a career. He started out with a very small film, literally one made in his house, and his mother was the lead actress, called Creesha, which people genuinely love and still praises probably his best movie, to doing a film called It Comes at Night, which was like a post-apocalyptic movie with our good boy Joel Edgerton.
Okay.
Living in a house. And then recently he had a weird movie where it was about The Weeknd, the musician. The musician, The Weeknd, star of The Idol.
I don't think I do.
He's like a rap R&B kind of guy, The Weeknd, spelled incorrectly because, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Where The Weeknd is playing himself basically, and Jenna Ortega is his stalker. And it's like basically a giant music video for The Weeknd's new album. And people were like really confused, like, why did Trey Edward Schultz direct this? Mm-hmm. But The Waves is the one in amongst all of that is the one I'm least familiar with, but the one I was most interested in seeing. Like, it's a weird thing where the others I'm aware of, and I'm like, oh, I should see those. But Waves is the one where I'm like, I know little about this, but it's the one that I've been drawn to watching. So that's what we're going to be doing next time.
And it's an American film.
It's an American movie.
All right.
I don't know who's in it. I don't know too much about it. I just know the poster is like two people like on a park bench near a beach, like leaning on each other. That's kind of all I know. Mm-hmm. So we'll be making sure to give that a viewing and a watching and a discussing next time on the podcast. So make sure that you watch it as well. But that is it. Well, thank you, Bartek.
I promise I will.
He promises he will.
I think it will be funny to one day come in and either not watch the film or watch the wrong film, but I will not do that for the next episode.
Don't do The Covenant again.
I watched 2 films. The wrong one and then the right one.
And you chose the right one, and it was good. Perhaps we will give you a fan edit of one of the films that you could watch, and then we get. You've watched extended cuts of movies.
That's true, yeah.
Like the A-Team, the P cut, as we call it.
I was thinking about that last week.
We're always thinking about the A-Team and the P cut.
Someone test his urine.
Yeah, that was an amazing part of our podcast. We were like, where's this scene? And both I and the guest were like, what are you talking about?
I was very confused.
We were all like, what are you talking about? But that is it, Bartek. Can you tell people where they can find us on the internet and how they can contact us? Sure, it's pretty easy to find us. We are everywhere as Spit and Polish Presents. Not on every website, but some of the ones you can look at are Twitter, where we are Spit and Polish Presents. Facebook, also, the page is called Spit and Polish Presents. We have a YouTube channel where we upload every episode and a couple of stray things here and there. And if you want to contact us directly, you can do that at the email address, which is spitandpolished@gmail.com. Like Ryan said at the start of the show, every third episode of Pictures Powwow is a listening people's choice. So that's anyone in this world that's not either he or I. So if you want to recommend us a film, again, at any of the places I listed above, we check out all the emails and comments we get, and we put everything on the list. And even if we can't find the film, it stays on the list just in case, the future smiles upon us. Yeah, we found several a year or two, or who knows how long later, but we do get them. We try and find them. We do keep investigating, so don't stress about that too much. But wonderful job. Now, we better get going, okay? Or else we may get the Xala. And we don't want that because we are Spit and Polish Presents, but we don't want to be spitting in that way. Spit upon the Polish. Wow. That was brilliant. Yeah, I know, right? I can do good things sometimes. Doing as in saying good things. He does evil acts all of the time. Yeah, it can only good happen. I'm just ripping off Trump now. If you didn't say that, I wouldn't have known what you were speaking about. Yeah, he had that quote sometime last year. It's like, nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.